Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market. But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, y'all. And as you can see, we came down to this low, and this was on 913. We were down at the 1641 area. It is now 917, and the high we've made from that day is not 17, let's say about 1769. That's where the ATR trailing stopped. So we've been trading kind of like in a small range, right? So this should be interesting. I said that to say that. It should be interesting, right? So as of now, the VIX has just really been trading sideways, basically. Pre-market support is here at the $17 area. I would definitely watch the 1721 area. Now, if we should break above the 1721, where are our trouble places? We will have trouble around 1739 and 1743, which is right where this 50 EMA is. Beyond the 1743, we'll have trouble around 1754. Now, if we break the 1754, which is right where price is here, let me say that, we could possibly have trouble at the ATR trailing stop, which is around the 1771. Now, if we break the 1771, we can have trouble around 1791, again, 1802, and if we break the 1802, the 1819 area could be resistance area for the VIX. Now, again, it wouldn't surprise me to see us back in this area between 1832 and 1844, and only because of the way that it's been trading, or it's been moving, let's say that. So let's look at the downside for the VIX. If we break under the $17 area, just know around the 1687 or 1688, again at 1672, 1668, 1668 and 1663 is kind of close. So let's say 1655 and the 1641. So that 1655 and 1641 brings us back to a previous gathering spot. So we look at the VIX only because it kind of gives an idea of what's going on with the SPY. So normally when the VIX is up, the SPY is down, and when the SPY is down, the VIX is up, right? So let's go look at the SPY just to see where we are today. What is interesting, and I know my SPY chart is very congested because I look at this a lot, and this is something that I try to trade often, and when I always want to know where my trouble places are, and I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale versus a much bigger scale. And sometimes I do look at the bigger, but if I'm in trouble, I need to know where my trouble places are, right? So that's how I look at it. Okay, so as of now, the SPY has been trading sideways here, and we see it on this is the 1 hour chart. We have been moving in a sideways. This is the 30-minute chart. We've been moving sideways, right? So we broke out of that area here. When we broke out here, which is today, we broke out of that gathering spot to go back to the upside, right? So look where price came back to the areas that we had already marked. This was a previous gathering spot that we had marked right here, 564.20 up to 564.84. It traded in this zone only to come back up and test the 565.39. We tested that 569.39 area, and we broke through that, but for some reason, sellers were there to take that price back to the downside. 565.58 is the high pre-market, right? So I'm going to remember that because that's where we had trouble in that area. So where are our trouble places? Now, we can very well continue climbing to the upside. However, we had trouble here at this 565.58. So I'm going to look at my downside trouble places. We're under the 5 EMA, or this support area, is what's holding us up as of right now. Our resistance is here. So I would say under 564.84, I would watch the SPY. Under that 564.84, just know we can come back and retest this 564.20. Under 564.20, 563.98. And under 563.98, we have I would say a stronger support area around 563.46 or 563.50 area, because that's a previous gathering spot, and our previous support area, the ATR trailing stop, which is at 563.34, and another area of 563.20, and we're very close to the 50 EMA here at the 563.09. So all of this area, in my opinion, will be kind of like a strong area of support for the SPY here. So there's the 20 EMA, a previous line of support or resistance. The ATR trailing stop, another line of support, and then the 50 EMA, and then we have another line of support here. So I would set an alert for me if the SPY break under 562.75. I need to watch that area around the 562.75. That means we have broken through a level of support. So I'm going to set an alert there just to be mindful of that. So our trouble places to the downside, if we should break under this 563.06 area, which is going to be around the 50 EMA, just know we could possibly have trouble around 562.72, 562.56, 562.29, and again at 562.06. Now see, these are previous areas that we found support, so that's exactly why we have so many different places there. So those are, like, areas that I would pay attention to if I traded the SPY today. Just know that it seems like we're creating a gathering spot for us right now, and that 565.58 was the high, and we need to watch that level. Looks like we're getting rejected there. Tomorrow is a very important day for the FOMC, so we need to trade carefully today. I always say that, y'all, trade carefully, and don't think that just because we reach this high that we cannot continue climbing. We very well can. Again, we have been trading in a gathering spot, just sideways. So whatever move it make, this could be our rejection and bring us down, or it could be a possibility of taking us higher. We don't know. I always say, y'all, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. Trade carefully, right? So let's go look at the Tesla today and see where we are pre-market. Tesla is Tesla. I say that often, right? So Tesla too was trading here in a gathering spot. You see the price just came in this area. We broke out of that only to come slightly above that to this area. So where are our trouble places for Tesla? As of now, the zone for Tesla is around the 226.13 up to this area of 228.07, 228.10. So we are slightly above that. So where are the trouble places for Tesla? If by chance we break above, continue above this 228.83, just know we can have trouble here at 229.63. Beyond the 229.63, 230. Beyond the 230, we can have trouble around the 230.62. Now, if we break that 230.62, 231.15 is going to be a trouble place, and the 232.04, which is the ATR trailing stop here. So I would definitely watch this level. Now, if Tesla break this ATR trailing stop, we could very well come back and find, trouble around 232.54. Beyond the 232.54, we could have trouble around the 236.19. So those are places for the upside for Tesla. Now, Tesla normally exceeds its ATR. So again, Tesla does what it does. I can't say that enough, right? So where are the trouble places to the downside? If by chance we break under 227.41, just know we can have trouble around this area of 226.73, because if you can look here, that's where the wick, the body of the candles are in this zone here. So I would say around the 225, 226.80, 226.83 area. I will watch that for Tesla. If we break that, just know we can come back to this previous support at 226.13. If we break the 226.13, we can come back to 225.19. And then again at 224.57. If we break the 224.57, 223.93. Now that 223.93 for Tesla, if we break that, it was a gathering spot on the daily chart. My alert will be set under that. That means we're probably going to continue, come back to the downside, only because we've broken through a level of support on the daily chart. So yeah, if you trade Tesla today, I would definitely watch those areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, y'all, I say it often, anything is possible, right? So let's look at AMD just to see where we are today. And AMD too has been trading in a gathering spot, just sideways basically, right? So it looks like we tried to break out of this area here. It looks like we're getting rejected at this 154.02. So that's going to be a trouble place for us. So it wouldn't, just keep in mind that this zone here is what I like to say. When I say the zone, it just means price has been coming back to this area. The support area was here at 151.52. So I would definitely watch that as an area of support if we come back down for AMD, and the resistance was around here at 152.64. So we have broken out through that resistance of 152.64, only to come here to get rejected. It looks like it got rejected, or tested, it got rejected a little here at 154.02. So that's how we come to the 154.02. Now the trouble places to the upside beyond the 154.02 is 154.84, 155.10, 155.44, 156.13. Beyond the 156.13, 156.74, 157.31, and 157.60. Those are going to be trouble places for AMD to the upside. Now back to the downside. If we come back under 152.63, just know 152.05, 151.51, and 150.91 or 92 area brings us back to where this 50 EMA is at 150.84. I would watch this 150.84. This area here is kind of like there's a lot of support here, which is the ATR trail and stop is now forming. So I would set my alert under the 150.41 for AMD. If we should break under that, then we've broken through a level of support that I would say a strong area of support, because we have a lot of lines here. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Well, that was probably too big. Okay. So, well, I was trying to make that a little bit bigger. So there we are. So we have a lot of lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 4 areas of support here. So that's why I set my alert here for AMD. If we should break under this, then we've broken through that level, right? So to the downside, if we by chance we break this 150.42, just know we can come back to 149.63, under 149.63, 148.23, and again here at 147.60. Those are going to be trouble places to the upside and to the downside for AMD. So if you trade AMD today, y'all know I always say trade carefully, right? So we are now looking at NVDA, and NVDA too has been trading in a gathering spot. It seems like this area of support was here around the 116.38. So I'm going to mark that and just to show how I go and immediately go to the gathering spot. 116, let's say around 116.28, 116.30, right here, because that's where the body of the candles are. So that is my gathering spot. Seems like I had an area here marked at 117.01. We broke past all of that resistance, which is here. Let me get that cursor fixed there. So we broke past all of this area of resistance. So where are the trouble places as of right now? See where I marked the level of where the body of the candles were. So that was my area of my gathering spot for NVIDIA, right? So as of now, our trouble places are at 118.52. That was a previous resistance or support area. If we break that 118.52, just know we can have trouble at 119.17. Past the 119.17, we can have trouble around 119.75, 119.96, 120.05. So that's kind of close. It was a previous gathering spot. 120.05, if we should break that, 120.24, and if we break the 120.24, just know we can have trouble around the 120.62 for NVIDIA. Now back to the downside, if we break under this 116.75 or the 117 area, just know we can have trouble at 116.76, again at 115.87, under 115.87. Well, let's see, this line here was at 116.34, under 116.34, 115.87, under 115.87, 115.36, under the 115.36, we can come back to the 114.77, which is the 200 EMA on this 31-hour chart. So I would watch, I would definitely watch NVIDIA today, because again, this is the 30-minute chart. We was just looking at the 1-hour chart. We see why we're having trouble. It's because of this ATR trail and stop here. That is what was holding us, getting us rejected on that 1-hour chart, which is here. We didn't see the ATR trail and stop on the 1-hour. We now see it on the 30-minute, which is what I normally look at anyway, and I just realized I was looking at the 1-hour chart, but it's okay. They are all this. Look, they give us the same information, right? So we're getting stopped out at this. We're finding resistance here at this ATR trail and stop for NVIDIA. So I would definitely watch this level here of 118.28, because if we break that, we can come back and retest this 118.55 and again at 119.18. So those are areas for NVIDIA I would watch to the upside and to the downside. Again, I always say, y'all, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. We do have a few inside day candles today. And AI is an inside day candle. Looks like we've broken through that trigger to the upside, which was at the 2346. If by chance we keep climbing, the target is 2364. Now to the downside, under 2274, downside target is 2267. So I would definitely watch AI if I traded that today. It is an inside day candle. Google, GOOG, Alphabet is an inside day candle. We have already reached the target and broken through, and all of that to the upside. So the trigger to the upside is 159.34. Target was 159.34, and as you can see, we've made a pre-market high of 160.37. Now if by chance we come back to the downside, 157.54, if we should break that, downside target is 156.07. Let's go see how much Google normally moves per day. $4.04 per day in either direction. So it can come back again in either direction, but Google is an inside day, GOOG. And GOOGL is also an inside day. It too has reached beyond the target. So, you know, it broke past the 158.27. The target was 158.45. We've made a high of 159.45. Now to the downside, it can come back down. Let's say to the downside, under 156.31 gives us a downside target of 155.09. So yeah, if you trade Google today or Alphabet, GOOGL, trade carefully, right? So let's see, we have Uber is an inside day candle. If by chance we break above 72.51, upside target is here around the 72.80. If we should break under $70.99, $70.93 is the target for Uber. So again, Uber is an inside day. I would say trade carefully. X or US, or is that United States? X, USS. Make sure I can see that, right? So X is an inside day candle, and that is not for the what is formerly Twitter. That is not. It's just X is the ticker for this one. And if by chance we should break above 36.84, the upside target is 38.30. So if we should break this level here of 36.84, we have an upside target for X at 38.35. And if by chance we break under 35.84, we have a downside target of 35.13. Again, this is for X and it is not Twitter. Let's say that. And it is for USS. That is the ticker X. So trade carefully today. We're going to go back to the SPY. I think NIO was an inside day candle also. Yes. So if by chance we break above the 555, the upside target is 558, and under 538, downside target is 518 for NIO. So if you trade NIO today, again, y'all, I always say trade carefully, right? So anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. We're going to go back and look at the SPY just to see where we are, and it looks like we are getting rejected here with the SPY. That 565.58 is interesting to watch, right? Because we broke out of a gathering spot up, found, you know, created another gathering spot, or it came back to a previous gathering spot. Let's say that's what those lines are, and then only to come up here to get rejected and come back. So I would say I would definitely watch the SPY today. I'm going to set my alert under this 5 EMA on this 30-minute chart just to let me know, you know, if by chance it break beyond below this area. So yeah, y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I hope that everyone have a very profitable, a very, very productive day. I say that often. And if you could, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Why? Because we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.